What up, everybody? This is your boy Black Magus, and seeing all the reviews for the PlayStation 5 Pro come out. Been checking them out because I'm curious to see what people think, and I think as a consensus, people think that it's a pretty solid piece of hardware. Of course, there are people who have questions about whether or not you should buy it, especially at its $700 price tag. You know, some people question: is it worth it? Is the graphic upgrade worth it? Um, and Generally, I think I'm seeing that they're saying it is, but I did see someone question whether or not it's necessary because maybe the graphics upgrade isn't as significant as it could be or isn't as important as it could be. Sorry, I had a hiccup for some reason right in the middle of that line. But, you know, just lamenting over the fact that currently what's out there that needs that type of performance boost that doesn't already perform well, or when it does perform well on the PS5 Pro, is it that big of a deal? And it just brings me back to a conversation I had on here about, I guess you could say, last generation, moving forward closer to the beginning of Xbox coming out with different tier consoles and things like that. We're at a point, and I still believe this. I believe that then, and I believe it now. We're still at a point where the further we go along, the necessity to get certain upgrades or get, and this is holding true in PC too. It's not just a console thing, but as things advance, what we're starting to see is we're getting less return. It's kind of like the phones, you know. Every year you get a new iPhone, and what's the one thing that always improves? You get a prettier camera. But for the most part, you know, beyond the camera and just having a faster processing speed to your phone, you're not getting any super significant upgrade that warrants your necessity to have this piece of hardware. Like, sure, your picture got some extra pixels and your phone boots up faster, but it still performs the same overall. And it's not a significant, you know, leap between product quality, but it's a significant leap in pricing and cost. So is it worth that cost? It's the same thing with consoles, same thing with PC hardware when it comes to gaming. We're getting to a point now where the, you know, returns are diminishing. And I said before, like, what you're going to see is once you've hit that peak where, you know, you got things to where everybody swore they wanted 4K and, you know, 60 frames per second and things like that. Sure, people might demand a little bit more. Maybe they're demanding 120, you know, frames per second or something like that, in 8K. But while things will look prettier and they'll seem to run smoother, games aren't going to necessarily evolve that much because these upgrades aren't changing the dynamics of gaming. And I feel like people are starting to catch on to that because I've noticed, especially in the PC crowd, that people build these $3,000 computers and things like that. And when you see a lot of streamers and things, and other people playing games, like I look at my friends' Steam or, you know, other gaming hubs playlists, and it's like point and click games. It's graphical adventures. You know, it's some like pixel side scroller, something like that. You know, things that you don't need a high grade of hardware to run. There's no super demand being put on your hardware to play these games. But people are playing these games, and why? Because it doesn't matter if it's a AAA game that costs $60 million and looks completely gorgeous, runs so smooth, have all the details, like you could see, like, so much detail in the characters and the like world design and all that. If it's not enjoyable, if it's not fun, who the fuck cares? Because I know like people always like to say like, oh, you just say you do that, you just say you do that because you're not good or you can't afford this. But reality, people, is we play games to have fun. And that's the thing. You're starting to see people just playing games to have fun and not you worry about, you know, the bullshit that you see on social media. Like, a lot of us look at what happens on social media and let that loud minority define in our minds what things are. But truth of the matter is, you go look around, people aren't as obsessed about all those things as they used to be. They just want a game, they want to have fun. Now, maybe that could be an uptick in quote unquote casual gamers, people who don't have that crazy mentality that people formulate to make them seem like they're some type of superior breed among the gaming community. But, you know, nobody cares that much anymore. I think it's just like starting to show more and more and more. And we're starting to see like, yeah, maybe you don't need to keep doing these hardware upgrades. Like, do they need a PS5 Pro? No. Do they need a PS4 Pro? You can make an argument that the PS4 Pro and the Xbox mids, generation consoles from the previous generation might have made some corrections to things that were promised in their original. But for this, nah. And Microsoft didn't need to have different tier consoles. They could have just made the highest one and settled there. Because again, people aren't playing games as much as they swore they are doing on social media because of the power, the frames, the graphics. Like, just fucking having fun with it. And, going to cheaper experiences that can do that. Like, it's I don't know. So we'll see how well the PS5 Pro does. Like, as I said before, like for somebody like me who doesn't have a PS5 at all, getting one wouldn't make sense because you're getting the latest product. Although, honestly, with the financial state it is, the fact that the regular PS5 is seemingly dropping in price somehow, I felt like I saw one for $350, the discless one, which to me is a steal. But if they drop the prices on the originals and you don't really give a fuck about all that extra stuff, get the original and be happy. Like, there is, and I doubt there will be anything that will be so, like, it'll be so needed or wanted that you have to have a PS5 Pro. I mean, cause shit, I only have a PS4 Pro because my original PlayStation that I bought day one broke. And I honestly say to myself, if that hadn't broke, probably would have never gotten a PS5 Pro, PS4 Pro, So it may be the same situation for a lot of you like this. And if you're just somebody who's just really into the hardware and really into stuff like that, you're gonna get it. And I don't knock you for getting it because as someone who's been into some tech stuff, growing up, I get it. You want the latest toy, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't think like you should be ostracized or if you're missing out if you don't do the upgrades. Because again, we're not getting, the stark differences between 8-bit and 16-bit, going from 16-bit to 32-bit, going from 32-bit to polygonal games and stuff like that. 64. I think 64-bit was the next, and then the polygonal with PlayStation and things like that, and so on and so forth. We're not getting those like jumps that we had between the Atari up until, I would say, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360. It's like PlayStation 4 and Xbox One kind of was the last big leap in my mind, and I don't know what else other than photorealism. I don't know what else to expect to be a major leap when it comes to gaming technology. So, yeah. But it is what it is. Again, looking forward to see how it does. Hopefully it does well. We'll see though. Anyway, as always, you guys, feel free to hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll haunt you later. This your boy Blak Magus, and I'm out. Deuces.